Have you ever felt a strange sense of déjà vu or a sudden unexplained change in your personality? Perhaps your parallel self is reaching out. Welcome to a fascinating journey into the realm of the metaphysical, where we delve into the concept of parallel selves and the intriguing possibility of spiritual awakening. Imagine, if you will, a universe not too dissimilar to our own, where an alternate version of you exists, living out a life that might have been yours under different circumstances. This idea, though it might sound like the plot of a science fiction novel, is deeply rooted in quantum physics and the theory of multiverses. It suggests that there could be countless versions of you existing simultaneously in parallel universes, each one a reflection of the different choices you could have made in your life. Now, what if these parallel selves could communicate with each other? What if your sudden flashes of insight, your unexplained skills or talents, or even your vivid dreams are messages from these parallel selves? This is where the concept of spiritual awakening comes in. Spiritual awakening is a profound realization of our true nature, a deeper understanding of our place in the universe, and a heightened consciousness of the interconnectedness of all things. It's a journey of self-discovery and self-realization, where we transcend the limitations of our physical existence and tap into the infinite potential of our spiritual selves. Now, imagine the possibility of a spiritual connection between your parallel selves. Could the signs of spiritual awakening also indicate a communication from your parallel self? Could that strange sense of déjà vu, that sudden change in personality, or that unexpected memory be a message from another version of you living in a parallel universe? In the following segments, we'll explore 8 spiritual signs that could indicate your parallel self is reaching out. Each sign is a piece of the puzzle, a clue to understanding this profound spiritual connection. We'll delve into each sign in detail, exploring its meaning and significance in the context of parallel selves and spiritual awakening. To ensure you don't miss out on more enlightening content, please subscribe to our channel. One of the first spiritual signs you may experience is an intense feeling of déjà vu. This phenomenon, déjà vu, is a French term that literally translates to already seen. It's that eerie sensation you get when you feel like you've lived through the present situation before. A fleeting moment that seems so familiar, yet you can't place where or when it happened. But what if these instances of déjà vu are more than just a trick of the mind? What if they're actually glimpses into a parallel universe where another version of you exists? Let's delve deeper. In the vast cosmos of possibilities, the theory of parallel universes postulates that there are an infinite number of universes, including the one we reside in. Each of these universes carries a different version of reality, a different version of you. So every decision you make, every path you choose creates a ripple effect, branching out into these myriad universes. Now, imagine for a moment you are living your life and suddenly you have this profound sense of déjà vu. You can't quite put your finger on it, but you feel like you've experienced this moment before. This, spiritual seekers suggest, could be a sign of your parallel self reaching out. It's as if for that fleeting moment, the thin veil separating these parallel universes is lifted, allowing you to glimpse into another version of your reality, another version of you. So why is this considered a spiritual sign? Well, spiritual teachings often speak of unity, interconnectedness, and the oneness of all things. If we are indeed existing in multiple realities simultaneously, this brings a whole new depth to these teachings. It suggests that we are more than just physical beings living in one linear timeline, but rather multidimensional beings experiencing life across multiple realities. It's a fascinating concept, isn't it? And one that opens up a plethora of questions about the nature of our existence and our place in the cosmos. So, when you feel déjà vu, you might just be brushing up against another version of yourself. Another sign could be sudden, unexplained changes in your personality. Imagine this. One day, you wake up with a newfound love for abstract art when you've always been a fan of realism. Or perhaps you find yourself drawn to the piano, even though you've never shown any interest in music before. These drastic shifts in your attitudes and tastes may seem strange, and you might even question if you're losing touch with who you are. But what if these changes aren't a cause for concern, but rather a sign of spiritual awakening? What if you're not losing yourself, but instead tapping into a parallel self? To comprehend this, let's delve into the concept of parallel selves. Some spiritual theories propose that there are multiple versions of ourselves existing in different dimensions or realities, each living out different life paths based on the choices we could have made. So, when you experience sudden changes in your personality, it could be that you're aligning with a parallel self. It's as if a veil has been lifted, allowing the traits, preferences, and experiences of your parallel self to bleed into your current reality. Let's take an example. Say, you've always been an introverted person, preferring quiet solitude over bustling social gatherings. But suddenly, you find yourself craving company and conversation. This could be a sign that you're connecting with a parallel self who is more extroverted and sociable. Or perhaps you've always been a meticulous planner, but you suddenly find yourself becoming spontaneous, making decisions on a whim. This could be an influence from a parallel self who lives life in the spur of the moment. These changes can be disconcerting, and it's natural to want to resist them. But embracing these shifts in personality could lead to a richer, more diverse experience of life. It's like becoming a more multifaceted version of yourself, a mosaic of different personalities, each providing a unique perspective on life. So the next time you find yourself acting out of character, consider that it could be your parallel self influencing you. Embrace the change, welcome the unfamiliar. After all, it's all part of the fascinating journey of spiritual awakening. Vivid, often otherworldly dreams can be another sign your parallel self is reaching out. Dreams have been considered sacred and significant since ancient times. They're not just a random concoction of our subconscious mind, but they can also act as a bridge, a communication channel between our current self and our parallel selves. In the realm of spiritual practice, dreams hold immense importance. They are seen as a pathway into the subconscious mind, a gateway to the unexplored dimensions of ourselves. Many spiritual traditions believe that our dreams can provide us with insights, guidance, and even prophetic messages. Imagine your dream as a cosmic email sent by your parallel self. This parallel self lives in a different reality, experiencing life differently, but sharing the same essence, the same soul. And it's trying to reach out, to connect, to share its experiences and wisdom. Now you might ask, how do I recognize these dreams? How do I know if it's a message from my parallel self? Well, these dreams are often vivid, intense, and leave a lasting impression. They feel real, sometimes even more real than your waking life. They're filled with symbols, metaphors, and narratives that can seem strange but are deeply meaningful. You might find yourself in unfamiliar landscapes, interacting with unknown people, or even living an entirely different life. You might witness events that defy the laws of physics, transcending the boundaries of time and space. These are not just random, meaningless scenarios. They're symbolic narratives, coded messages from your parallel self. Interpreting these dreams can be a fascinating journey. It's like deciphering a secret language, unlocking the hidden wisdom of your parallel self. But remember, the key to understanding these dreams lies within you. Your intuition, your inner wisdom is the best dream interpreter. To make sense of these dreams, it's a good practice to keep a dream journal. Write down your dreams as soon as you wake up, capturing as many details as possible. Notice the patterns, the recurring symbols and themes. Over time, you might start to see a clearer picture, a deeper understanding of these messages. Keep a dream journal. It might just help you understand the messages from your parallel self. Unusual physical sensations, seemingly without cause, can be another indicator. As humans, we're not just intellectual creatures, we're also incredibly physical. We experience the world through our senses, and any sudden, unexpected changes in these sensations can be a sign of a spiritual shift. Imagine you're sitting quietly, perhaps reading a book or watching a film, and out of nowhere, you feel a wave of heat or a shiver of cold. You might feel a tingling sensation in your hands or a strange pressure on your chest. These sensations aren't accompanied by any physical triggers. The room temperature hasn't changed, there's no draft, and yet you feel these sensations as real as anything. Or perhaps you've experienced an inexplicable taste or smell, a sudden sweetness on your tongue, or the faint scent of flowers in a room with no plants. These sensory experiences, when they can't be attributed to any physical source, might be a sign that your parallel self is reaching out, trying to communicate or influence your current reality. But these sensations aren't just random. They're often tied to specific spiritual insights or messages. For instance, a sudden wave of heat could be an indication of a passionate energy, a sign that you're on the right path and should continue with your current course. A shiver might be a warning, a signal that you're straying from your spiritual path and need to reassess your direction. These sensations are your body's way of interpreting the spiritual energy from your parallel self. However, it's important to remember that not every physical sensation is a mystical message. The human body is a complex system, and changes in physical sensations could be symptoms of health issues. So, if you're experiencing any unexplained physical symptoms, it's critical to seek medical advice. Once you've ruled out any medical concerns, then it's time to consider the spiritual possibilities. Always remember to seek medical advice for any unexplained physical symptoms. But if all is clear, consider the spiritual possibilities. Our bodies are incredible communicators, and when we learn to listen, we open ourselves up to a whole new level of understanding and spiritual growth. Unexpected memories that don't align with your reality might be a sign of a parallel self. Imagine this. You're sitting on your favorite couch, sipping a warm cup of tea, when suddenly a memory flashes in your mind. It's vivid, detailed, and yet completely unfamiliar. You're certain it's your memory, but it's a scene you can't recall living. This, dear listener, might be a sign that your parallel self is reaching out. These unexpected memories can come to us in various forms. Sometimes they appear as flashes of images or conversations that don't belong to our current timeline. Other times, they might hit us as a sudden wave of nostalgia for places we've never been, or people we've never met. But what do these unexpected memories signify? Well, they could be experiences from a parallel life seeping into your consciousness. Just as we dream and remember fragments of our dreams, these memories could be fragments from another life, another version of ourselves reaching out. Now, it's crucial to understand that these memories aren't a cause for alarm. Instead, they're a spiritual sign, a nudge from the universe, encouraging us to explore the vast potential of our existence. They remind us that we are more than our current selves, that we exist beyond the boundaries of this life, this reality. These memories, in essence, are like postcards from our parallel selves. They offer glimpses into other timelines, other experiences, and other versions of our existence. They invite us to question, to wonder, and ultimately, to grow. So, the next time you stumble upon an unexpected memory, pause for a moment, breathe it in, explore its depths. Ask yourself, could this be a message from my parallel self? Could this be a sign that I am more than what I perceive to be? And remember, these unexpected memories are not interruptions, but invitations. They're not distractions, but directions, guiding us towards a deeper understanding of ourselves and our infinite potential. These unexpected memories could be experiences from a parallel life seeping into your consciousness. Suddenly discovering skills or talents you've never learned could be another sign. Now, this might sound like a plot from a sci-fi movie, but let's dive into the realm of the extraordinary. Imagine waking up one day and discovering that you can play the piano with the grace of a concert pianist without ever having touched the keys in your life. Or perhaps you find yourself speaking a foreign language fluently that you've never studied. It might be a language that you've always wished to learn, or one that's entirely unknown to you. These are instances of sudden skills or talents that seem to emerge out of nowhere. What's fascinating is that these aren't just random, unrelated talents. They often align with our deepest desires, interests, or passions. For instance, if you've always been drawn to the arts, you might suddenly find yourself painting like a pro. Or if you've always been fascinated by different cultures, you might wake up one day speaking a new language. But how does this connect to the idea of a parallel self? Well, some spiritual philosophies suggest that our parallel selves are living different lives, having different experiences and learning different skills. It's as if these selves are on different paths but are all connected to the same source, you. When a sudden skill or talent emerges, it could be a sign that one of your parallel selves has mastered this particular ability, and somehow that knowledge has seeped into your current self. It's like a form of spiritual osmosis, where wisdom and skills can pass through the boundaries of different realities. This concept pushes the boundaries of our understanding and invites us to consider the vast potential of our existence. It reminds us that we are not just confined to this one life, this one reality. We are multidimensional beings, capable of so much more than we realize. So, if you suddenly find yourself excelling at something new, consider the possibility of a parallel self. It might just be your gateway into understanding the profound interconnectedness of all aspects of your being. Intense intuition or a sudden knowing could be a sign of your parallel self. Have you ever had a feeling, a gut instinct, that something was about to happen? And then, lo and behold, it did? That's intuition. It's a knowing without knowing, a sense that bypasses the logical mind and taps directly into a deeper level of understanding. It's like having a sixth sense, a third eye, or an inner compass that guides you through life's twists and turns. But where does this intuition come from? Some believe it's the subconscious mind processing information faster than we can consciously comprehend. Others propose it's the whisper of the soul, or even guidance from higher powers. But what if it's something more parallel? Here's a thought to ponder. What if your intense intuition is actually a connection to a parallel self? A version of you that exists in another dimension, living out a different narrative but sharing the same core essence. This parallel self, experiencing life from a unique perspective, might have insights that your current self doesn't. Imagine that your parallel self has already navigated a situation you're currently facing. They've been down that road, they've seen the outcome, and now they're sending you intuitive nudges to help you steer your course. It's like having a personal guide who's always got your back because they are you, just in a parallel reality. But how do you tap into this intense intuition? How do you listen to the whispers of your parallel self? It's all about quieting the mind, tuning into your feelings, and trusting your gut instincts. Meditation can be a powerful tool here, as it helps to silence the chatter of the conscious mind and allows you to connect more deeply with your intuitive self. Remember, intuition is more than just a hunch. It's a powerful form of inner guidance that can lead you to make better decisions, avoid potential pitfalls, and navigate life's challenges with more grace and ease. Trust your gut feelings. They may be messages from another version of you. Lastly, experiencing synchronicities or coincidences could be a sign of your parallel self reaching out. You might be wondering, what exactly are these synchronicities? Well, in simple terms, synchronicities are meaningful coincidences. They are events connected not by cause and effect, but by meaning. For instance, you might think of an old friend, someone you haven't spoken to in years, and suddenly they call you. Or perhaps you find yourself drawn to a particular book in a bookstore only to open it and find the exact words you needed to hear. These are not mere coincidences, but synchronicities. Now, how does this relate to the concept of parallel selves? Well, one theory suggests that these synchronicities might be messages from our parallel selves. Fascinating, isn't it? Let's delve a bit deeper. Imagine for a moment a universe where all possibilities exist simultaneously. In this multiverse, there are countless versions of you, each living out a different life based on the choices they've made. These are your parallel selves. They exist in different dimensions and timelines, but they are all connected to you. So when you experience a synchronicity, it could be a message from one of these parallel selves. Maybe they're trying to guide you, warn you, or just let you know they're there. They're reaching out across the dimensions, using the language of synchronicity to communicate. It's a thought-provoking concept, isn't it? Of course, it's not something that can be proven or disproven scientifically. Yet it's an idea that resonates with many spiritual seekers. It offers a new perspective on the coincidences we experience in our lives. So the next time you experience an uncanny coincidence, consider the possibility of a parallel self. Could it be a message from another version of you, living out a different life in a parallel universe? It's a fascinating thought, and one that might just change the way you perceive the world around you. These are just a few of the spiritual signs that your parallel self might be reaching out. As we journeyed through this exploration of parallel selves and spiritual awakening, we delved into 8 signs that may indicate a connection with your parallel self. It's important to remember these signs are not set in stone. They are guidance on a path that is unique and personal to each one of us. We began with the intriguing phenomenon of unexplained déjà vu. That uncanny feeling of having lived a moment before isn't just a glitch in the matrix. It might be a glimpse into an experience your parallel self is having. Next, we discussed sudden changes in personality. If you've noticed shifts in your behavior, likes or dislikes that seem out of the blue, it could be your parallel self influencing your current self. We also touched on the importance of vivid dreams. These intense nocturnal narratives may be more than the product of an active imagination. They might be messages or experiences shared by your parallel self. Unusual physical sensations were another sign we examined. These sensations can range from tingling, warmth, or even a sense of displacement, all potentially indicating that your parallel self is reaching out. Unexpected memories, those that seem to come from nowhere and don't align with your current life, may be experiences of your parallel self seeping into your consciousness. The sudden manifestation of skills or talents was another sign we explored. If you find yourself mysteriously adept at something you've never tried before, it could be a talent your parallel self possesses. We then delved into the role of intense intuition. Those gut feelings that guide you may be the wisdom of your parallel self breaking through. Lastly, we discussed synchronicities, those meaningful coincidences that seem too perfect to be random. They could be the parallel self aligning events across dimensions. Remember, these signs are subjective and personal. Only you can truly understand what they mean for you. Thank you for joining us on this spiritual journey. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.